Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Hoyle. I'm now an undergraduate from Imperial Valley College and currently working in the ER as an RN. And for today's video, it's going to be test taking tips I normally use for my nursing school classes and the NCLEX. So with this tends to be a little bit different depending on how your tests are structured. At least for me, they tend to be like multiple choice and select all the apply, like a little mixture of both. So having that in the spectrum, with regarding multiple choice, first I tend to have the mentality of taking it 5 questions at a time. So I call it the 5-question rule, I guess, regarding the aspect that you're going to be going 5 questions at a time. So depending on your exam questions, if they're like 60 or 70, you just might look at it and be like, holy damn, that's a lot of questions. But have this mentality that you can do 5 at a time. Just have it like that. We're only going to do 5 at a time and we'll go from there. Having this mentality of having like 5 at a time, at least for me, it makes the group smaller. It makes everything less. So it makes me want to do everything I can because there are only 5 questions. It's really weird because like eventually I am going to be doing all the questions, obviously. But having a group by 5 questions, it makes it seem more doable than just thinking like, all right, I have to get this 70 done. So at least for me, that really helps. Another thing that helps is also betting, like in my mind, obviously not in real life, but betting whether if I'm down to 2 choices in the multiple choice, which one makes more sense? Which one can you defend more? Whether it's like with a friend, with the professor, which one would you say like this one makes more sense? And depending on that, which one would you bet money on? So if you can defend more question A than B, like you're down to A and B, all right, C and D, you already crossed it out. You're between A and B, but you don't know which one could it be. Like you have like a low key suspicion B could be it, but A has like more of the arguments. You can defend more A with your professor, with your friends, and you're even down to put like $5 on the line that question A is the right one. Then probably you should go for that one. Now, this mentality, why is it helpful? Because if you tend to have like more evidence of why that's it, then more than likely it will be it. Because if you really don't have a lot of evidence for question B, then why would you say like that's even a choice, really? Like, it makes sense, B, yeah, but technically we really think about it, B really doesn't make a lot of sense as question A. So having that mentality, whether you can like defend and bet money on the line for an answer, that really has helped me tailor those 2 options and only get one of them. And most of the time it does work because my exams, they tend to be pretty good, like more in the 80s category, like mid 80s, high 80s, low 90s. So having that mentality has really helped me, overcome those multiple choice that you're between 2 of them. Another one that has helped me for select all the apply has been the ones that you can definitely rule out. Like if you have 5 choices, which ones do you definitely just throw out the window? And then from the ones that you're remaining, which are probably going to be like whether 3 or 4, which ones are definitely it? And then the other 2 would be like based on the circumstances of these answers, based on the question that we're given, like which one makes sense that it would be it. And having that mentality, like which one makes more sense, most of the time, I'm not going to say always, but most of the time it does help having that mentality because I do get them right. The majority of the time, like the select all they apply, they give you 5 or 6 answers and 2 of them are it or 3 of them are it. I never gotten one that has been like all of them, or one of them, but at least 2 or 3. So I just have also that in my mentality, like it needs to be at least like 2 or 3, even though it says like they can even tell you like all or none. All or one, it could be it. Even also like all they apply, like I don't buy it sometimes because you can definitely like rule some of them out, and when you rule already one of them out, it's not going to be all of them. So yeah, that has really helped me also like in the U world when I was prepping for the NCLEX. Another one that has helped me a lot is like deep breathing whenever it comes to people finishing early than me or earlier than me. I'm not the person that tends to like finish their exams really quick. I tend to be like one of probably like the first 5 or 6, but I'm never one of the top 3. So whenever I'm taking my exam, there are like 65 questions and I'm barely on question 40, and I see somebody already finished with the exam, I'm like, wait, what the hell? Like, how is this possible? So I tend to just like, I low-key panic. I'm like, oh my god, like am I taking more time than what I need to? But then I look at the time and I'm like, no, I'm doing well. So there's some people who are definitely going to be like fast test takers, and hey, like it's all right. Like everybody has their own strengths, right? But At least with me, I just tend to like deep breathe like once or twice, and I say to myself like, it's all right, man. Like, it's better to be one of the ones that finish later on and you get more of them right than finishing earlier and do common mistakes that you normally wouldn't do. Because there's sometimes like you read some of the questions and your answers, and you're like, what the hell? Like, what was I thinking? So sometimes it could be based on that. Like, you're anxious, you just want to go, and you just pick like the ones that make a little bit of sense, but they really don't make a lot of sense. So when you deep breathe and you really space yourself from the exam, that can sometimes help you to like focus more and get more into your zone and prevent or at least reduce the probability of making like silly mistakes like that, which is completely normal. Hey, like, we're very stressed, and some people deal with stress differently, and whenever you're taking a test and it's like a high stakes exam, like a final, a midterm, or one of the last exams, you want to finish low-key strong so you end up with a good grade, like, there tends to be like a lot of pressure on you. So having that mentality of like deep breathing and like just taking it 5 questions at a time, and I like the little tips that I just told you right now, it can definitely help in defining pretty much your grade on where it's going to be, because depending on how you treat that stress and how you deal with it, it's definitely going to be also be reflecting on your performance on your exam. And then also having the mentality like it's not going to be the end of the world whether you get a C, a B, or an A. Like, I really doubt whenever they're going to be hiring you, they're going to be like, oh, we want to look at your school's transcripts. Like, they're just going to look at your degree and that's it. So if you were like a hardcore person that needs an A because you just want it, just also it's like, oh, okay, you're at least going to pass. Like, like, it's all right. But just have the